McGregor and I play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
My name is Moses Ingram and I play Reva Savander.
I'm Deborah Chow and I'm the director and executive producer on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
With the earlier Star Wars films taking inspiration from samurai films to more recent installments like Star Wars Visions emulating Asian pop culture, it's evident that the franchise takes a lot from Asian culture and history. As an Asian Canadian yourself, is Star Wars' background in Asian pop culture something you highlight in the show?
I think for me, Star Wars has always been very rooted in Westerns and samurai films, and particularly Kurosawa. So it feels like it's just in the DNA of Star Wars. So when we were doing Mandalorian, I watched a ton of Westerns and samurai films, and then did the same for this one. And I think there's such a strength to the storytelling. Like, it's so simple, but it's so powerful, and it's very visually based in a lot of those samurai films that I think it works very well for Star Wars stories.
So you're playing a brand new character in a whole line of Inquisitors that we've already seen before in like various other mediums. What can you tell us about your character that sets her apart from the other Inquisitors that we've already seen?
The Inquisitors are a team. They work together. They have a common goal, and even in that, they're all individuals. And I think the thing about Reva is she has no regard for how anybody feels about the way in which she does things. And that was really exciting for me to play.
Okay, so the last time we saw you in episode 3 was exactly 17 years ago today. Order 66 had just taken down the Jedi Order and Obi-Wan went into hiding in Tatooine. As this show takes place around 10 years after the events of episode 3, what do you imagine Obi-Wan's been doing for all this time?
Well, the Jedi, like you say, were destroyed. Were after Order 66 were mainly wiped out, except for some Jedi who went into hiding in the far corners of the galaxy, and that's what Obi-Wan Kenobi has had to do. And so he's been living on Tatooine, trying to live a normal life without using the Force, without living as a Jedi. He's trying to live a normal life. He's one last responsibility to his old life is Luke Skywalker, who of course he leaves with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru at the moisture farm. When I was playing him, I felt like that might have been, it was sort of split between the idea that he's given up on the Jedi, that he feels like they lost and their time of the Jedi is finished, and the fact that he's looking over Luke, partly because he promised Padme that he would, but also partly because I think he might have a little hope left in him. When Alec Guinness meets Mark Hamill in A New Hope, it's only a matter of minutes before he's taking out the lightsaber and talking about the Force and talking about the Jedis, and it doesn't come out of nowhere. I guess he's been harboring this hope. So, but when I was playing him, that hope is pretty buried deep, I think.
What are some physical instances where you implemented Asian culture into the show, whether it be choreography, set design, or whatever it is?
I think, there's a number of things. Like, certainly there were references, like, in our trailer, you've probably seen there's a planet called Dayu. And I was looking at a lot of references from Wong Kar-wai and, looking at things like In the Mood for Love, Chungking Express. So there's obviously the visual influence. And also I thought of that planet very much. I was thinking about like the Bangkok night market or Hong Kong at night. So I think, visually there's a lot of references, and that sort of infused a little bit the culture in that particular planet as well.
So fans have literally been drooling, waiting for this show to come out, since it's the first time in almost 2 decades that we get to see these iconic characters like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in live action. Yeah. What was it like for you to be dropped into the Eye of the Storm as a brand new character? What was it like working with the cast who had already known each other for so long?
Yeah. They were great. They treated me like a peer, and really led by example. It was nice to learn from them just in their day-to-day doings on set, So many lifelong Star Wars fans worked on this series. And so every day it was like watching somebody else's dream come true, getting to place a cloak onto someone or hand someone their lightsaber or even pose with it with them. There were so many things. So it was very cool.
So as the new series covers the time between episode 3 and episode 4, how much control or creative freedom did you really have when it came to the show? Was the story elements ever up to you, or was it pre-established for you?
I think the biggest challenge is obviously, we are in between two trilogies with two very, huge iconic characters. So we were really beholden, obviously, to George's story, and it's his story. These are his characters. So we were very much trying to be respectful of everything that's been created before and after us. So that gave us sort of our starting place for the story, and it wasn't really so much of a dictate as it is, this is the story that we're telling. This is where these characters are. But within that, then for us, I think the challenge was to find an original story and also have a new vision, but that also, stayed coherent with the canon.
From the Grand Inquisitor to the Fifth Brother, we're seeing a lot of characters we've seen in other mediums come back. While they might be able to have researched and prepared for their roles, how did you, as someone that's newly established, do your research and prepare for your character? Did you have some control over how your character was played, or was it almost all already established for you?
I was really blessed to be able to originate this character, and because of that, there were less things that I think made it rigid for me, in which like I couldn't move in it and make it my own. I feel like because it's so new, I was able to really get in there and play it how I felt best. And a lot of it is in the writing. The text sort of like lays out exactly what it is, and so it was really fun to dive in and bring life to what was written.
You went from directing just a couple episodes of The Mandalorian, which is an original show, to an entire show filled with pre-established and intensely loved characters. Was there ever pressure behind that, and what was that like?
There's definitely pressure. I don't think you can bring on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader and not feel that pressure and responsibility. So I think it's something obviously that we thought a lot about, and we tried to really be as thoughtful as possible in the storyline with the two of them. But it's also at the same time, it's incredibly exciting. You do have these two huge characters, and just the opportunity to get to direct them is something that was very special.
So the long-awaited confrontation between you and Hayden is what a lot of fans are looking forward to. But compared to the confrontation between Alec Guinness's Ben Kenobi and David Proust's Darth Vader in A New Hope, what sets this show's confrontation between you and Hayden apart from what we've already seen before?
Well, I don't know that I can talk about it too much because it's difficult to discuss a lot of this without giving away plot and things, and I don't want to do that. So the truth is, you're just going to have to wait and see. It was an amazing experience to work with Hayden again. When we were on set together, it felt very much like the last 17 years didn't happen. Like it was just like some kind of weird time warp back in time. It's so beautiful to see him playing Anakin and Vader again. And you're just going to have to wait and see what that confrontation, if there is one, what it's like.
Oh, okay.
It might actually be a game of chess, maybe it's that.
Well, I think that's honestly all the time that we have. Thank you so much for spending some minutes to talk with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Cheers, mate. Take care.